parents, this is a chance for you to stand up and take photos of your kids while they're up here, do all the things that you want to do as a proud mom and dad or grandparent. What we're going to do is the board members are going to step in front of the table, and we're going to have sort of a line here, reception. They're going to call one student at a time to the front, and you're going to stand over there by the podium. You don't have to say anything, but you stand there, receive your certificate and award. And as you come down the line and shaking hands, at the end, we have a sign, it's a yard sign, and we ask that you just display it out in front of your house. Right? Don't worry about your HOA, put it out there in front of your house. Tell them to call me if they've got a problem with it. But, you know, it's a way for you to just be able to celebrate and put that out there, and for folks to say, what's that about? And you get a chance to brag about your kid a little bit. So we're super thankful for your students, the things that they do every day to make Lebanon High School a better place. And we have these metal yardsticks over here. We can get one of those before you leave. That way you're not poking anybody around you or anything like that. And at the end, we'll bring everybody back up for one photo with the board members. So one at a time, shake hands, get your sign at the end, and at the end we'll call everybody back up for a picture. So board members, we want to go ahead and get ready. You guys want to come out? Mr. Brunk is here tonight from Lebanon High School as well, so he'll be a part of this. Signs again? Yeah.
That's my favorite job.
You can do signs again.
I look forward to it.
Good evening. Our first award winner is Olivia Liv Cope. Is she here? She is. Come on. How are you? Congratulations. She's right here. Don't worry about it yet. Olivia is an intelligent and caring student who exemplifies what it means to be a community builder through her involvement in Hope Squad, National Honor Society, and the Captain's Council. Whether she's serving as a dance team member or an aide in the athletic office, she consistently offers her time and talents to others. She is a thoughtful classmate who stands up for others, handling difficult situations with compassion. Her dependable nature and commitment to making Lebanon a better place make her a truly valuable asset to our school and community. And Ashley, Rail, and Jessica Michelle. Congratulations.
That's a beautiful idea.
Next will be James Burke. James stands out as a student who views technical project management as a form of community service. As a project manager for the IT Club Thrive Act, he has transformed a typical extracurricular project into a mission focused on solving real-world community needs. James actively recruits and includes students who may not see themselves as tech-savvy, creating a patient, kind, and judgment-free team environment. He leads with empathy, ensuring every team member feels respected, seen, and valued. Through his leadership, intelligence, and kindness, James has become a unifying force and a dependable pillar of support within the community. You were nominated by Marla Mormon. Now I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Barnes.
Okay. Is Isaac Rose here? Isaac Rose is a dedicated community builder who consistently brings people together. Throughout 4 years in the French program and as an active member of the French Club, Isaac has shown strong leadership by fostering a welcoming, collaborative environment. Isaac also extends his impact through volunteer service. helping with events such as Warren County Board of DD, Trunk or Treat, and support for Christmas for Tots. Throughout his actions at school, work, and in the community, Isaac consistently builds connections and makes a positive difference for others. And you were nominated by Jennifer Marsh.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'd like to introduce you to Rachel Colthorse. Rachel is a dedicated senior who consistently pushes herself to excel, never letting a challenge stand in the way of her goals. Her remarkable growth is a testament to her academic responsibility and strong work ethic. Beyond the classroom, she demonstrates leadership and mentorship within the junior ROTC program and remains active in lacrosse and her equine club. Rachel's character is defined by her role as a solid friend and a motivator who encourages others to be the best versions of themselves. And this was submitted by Gentry Ellis. Congratulations. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Sophia Flora. Sophia consistently goes above and beyond as a student athlete and a leader. As a member of the Captain's Council, she is often the first to volunteer for community service and frequently contributes thoughtful ideas to improve the student experience. Her initiative is particularly evident in her work as a fall war zone leader, where she managed social media and developed the Spirit Box concept to boost school pride at athletic events. Sophia serves as an ideal role model, combining academic excellence with a proactive commitment to her school community. And this was submitted by Kaylin King. Congratulations. Let me introduce Kim Coates.
Good job.
Okay. I would like to have Nola Seller. Nola Seller. Is she here? I'm going to go ahead and read the nomination letter that she received. Nola Seller. Nola is a standout leader who lifts those around her with her positive attitude and willingness to help. While she excels academically, her true impact is felt through her inclusiveness. Currently serving as the president of LHS Business Professionals of America, Region 17, Nola models professionalism and empathy in every role she takes on. During competitions, she works tirelessly to create a supportive environment for students, advisors, and judges alike. Her ability to combine excellence with kindness makes her a community builder at Lebanon High School, an outstanding ambassador beyond. And this was, she was nominated by Cheryl Zodder. Okay, next, Monica Alaves Ibarra. Monica is an excellent student whose bilingual skills and generous spirit have made a significant impact on the Lebanon community. This year, she volunteered her time at the Lebanon Food Pantry's Christmas for Tots, assisting Spanish-speaking families to ensure they had a positive and special holiday experience. Monica serves as a Writing Center consultant. Her dedication to helping others succeed both in and out of the classroom makes her an outstanding community member, and she was nominated by Senora Roet. Okay, now I'd like to introduce my claim.
And our next winner is Lily Plummer. Lily embodies the spirit of a community builder through her remarkable character and her unique talent for making others feel valued. She is a friend to all, and her ability to engage others in meaningful conversation ensures that everyone she interacts with feels seen and appreciated. Lily demonstrates a high level of maturity and independence, taking the initiative to assist in Mrs. Gordon's classroom. We are proud to celebrate the kindness and culture of connection she creates every day. And nominated by Mr. Alex Burke.
Oh, how precious.
And our last community builder of the evening is Fazul Akman. I'll read this. Fazul is a dedicated student with an incredible work ethic, particularly in his contributions to the school coffee cart. Fazul is a compassionate role model who consistently goes out of his way to help his classmates, whether by passing out books or offering support on a rough day. His growth and his ability to teach others how to communicate with him have been an inspiration to the entire school. We look forward to seeing his continued leadership during his senior year. Sincerely, Alicia Gara.
So we just want to take an opportunity to say congratulations and thank you for the great things that you do to build culture every day at the high school. I also want to take the opportunity to thank Mike Lane and Blitz Bros and Custard for sponsoring this program and the award for the year. You'll see a little logo down in the corner. So students, this is your invitation to ask your parents to stop for some custard. Is it closed?
It's closed.
Oh, it's closed. I take that back. But great partner with us, and so thanks, Mr. Lane, for doing that. We want to get a photo, everybody, with the board members, and Mr. Brunk, if you'll stick around for that photo as well. So if you guys could come back up, in order to not have too many signs, would you bring your sign with you from the front row, and then everybody else leave yours at your seat, and we'll dismiss after this. So come forward for a picture right here in the middle, and get moving. We'll share this publicly on the website and things like as well in the next couple of days, but parents feel free to stand up and get a photo here.
Right?
Lindy's going to get one and then she'll get out of the way.
Okay.
Get in the window.
Okay, you all ready?
Wait, see through.
Okay. Oops, left the gas. Okay. Ready? Smile. Smile.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the board meeting, but that's going to be the most exciting thing that happens. So if you'd like to, make sure you come over here and get one of these medal stakes as well. We'll take a brief break while they're clearing the room, and then we'll be right back at it.
Yeah.
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Irvin, can you do the roll, please?
Mr. McCutcheon?
Here.
Mr. Gliardi?
Here.
Mr. Lane?
Here.
Mrs. Dalton?
Here.
Mrs. Cope?
Here.
Agenda item 4, we need to do oath of office for the newly elected board members, please.
I'll start in the order that I have them. So, Mr. McCutcheon, would you repeat after me?
Can you do them in shorter sentences?
Yes. I, Roy McCutcheon,
I, Roy McCutcheon,
solemnly affirm
solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge my duties as a member of the Board of Education
discharge my duties as a member of the Board of Education,
of the Lebanon City School District,
Lebanon City School District,
Warren County, Ohio,
Warren County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability,
and in accordance with the laws
in accordance with the laws
now in effect
now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted
and hereafter to be enacted
during my continuance in said office
due to my continuance in said office
and until my successor
and until my successor
is elected and qualified.
is elected and qualified.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on being elected and on remembering your parts there. Those pretty amazing things.
Okay, Mr. Gliardi. Repeat after me. I, Michael Gliardi,
I, Michael Gliardi,
solemnly affirm
solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a member of the Board of Education
as a member of the Board of Education
of the Lebanon City School District,
of the Lebanon City School District,
Warren County, Ohio,
Warren County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws
and in accordance with the laws
now in effect
now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted
and hereafter to be enacted
during my continuance in said office
during my continuance in said office
and until my successor
and until my successor
is elected and qualified.
is elected and qualified.
Keep going. Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
I, Jennifer Dalton,
I, Jennifer Dalton,
solemnly affirm
solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially discharge my duties
and impartially discharge my duties
as a member of the Board of Education
as a member of the Board of Education
of the Lebanon City School District,
of the Lebanon City School District,
Warren County, Ohio,
Warren County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws
and in accordance with the laws
now in effect
now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted
and hereafter to be enacted
during my continuance in said office
during my continuance in said office
and until my successor
and until my successor
is elected and qualified.
is elected and qualified. Congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody.
It's a lot of words.
Agenda, section 6, adoption of the agenda. I need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments about tonight's agenda? Hearing none, Ms. Irvin?
Mrs. Cope?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mr. Gliardi?
Yes.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Agenda section 7, I need a motion to approve and sign the minutes of our December 15th regular board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments about the meetings from December 15th? Hearing none, Ms. Irvin?
Mr. Gliotti?
Yes.
Mrs. Dolden?
Yes.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Agenda section 8, election of president and vice president. We can just, my understanding is we can just take nominations without motions. So, agenda section 8A, election of president. Are there any nominations for president?
I'd like to nominate Roy McCutcheon.
Are there any other nominations? I need a motion to close nominations, please.
So moved.
And I need a motion to elect.
Second.
But we need a second on that? Okay. So now I need a motion to elect.
I'd like to make a motion to elect.
Second.
Do a roll. It's over.
Mr. Gliotti?
Yes.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Mrs. Dolden?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Motion carried. Oath again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I state your name,
I, Roy McCutcheon,
solemnly affirm
solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
discharge my duties as the President
discharge my duties as President
of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education,
of the Lebanon City School District,
Lebanon City School District,
Warren County, Ohio,
Warren County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws
and in accordance with the laws
now in effect
now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted
and hereafter to be enacted
during my continuance in said office
in my continuance in said office
and until my successor
until my successor
is elected and qualified.
is elected and qualified.
Congratulations.
Moving on to agenda section 8B, election of vice president. Floor is open for nominations.
Nominate Mike Gliotti.
Are there any more nominations for vice president? I need a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I need a motion to elect. Ms. Irvin.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gliotti?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Nothing like putting you on the spot and do it yourself first. It's a random order generator, by the way.
He stood and thought about it for a second, so I didn't answer right away either.
Wasn't sure he wanted
I
that.
had to consider, yeah.
Okay, oath of office. I state your name,
I, Michael Gliotti,
solemnly affirm
solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as the Vice President of the Board of Education
as the Vice President of the Board of Education
of the Lebanon City School District,
of the Lebanon City School District,
Warren County, Ohio,
Warren County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws
and in accordance with the laws
now in effect
now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted
and hereafter to be enacted
during my continuance
during my continuance
in said office
in said office
and until my successor
and until my successor
is elected and qualified.
is elected and qualified.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda section 9, communications and reports. A, hearing of the public. I'm sorry, I did not get
I don't believe we're going to sign
anybody
this
want
one.
to speak. Okay.
None of you want to say anything this evening, do you?
Don't want to say anything?
No.
Ms. Berger, you have the floor.
Perfect. Well, I don't have too much of an update. It's only been a month since our last meeting into the summer break, where I did not think about school once.
Good for you.
I needed that break, middle of senior year. But I did want to talk about music and just kind of what's happening within our choirs at the high school. I feel like I give an athletic update all the time, but I don't always get the chance to talk about music. So I'm really excited that I get to talk about it this time. I met with Mr. Brunk, and I was made aware of the fact that choir programs at both the high school and junior high are at full capacity. And both choirs, even at the junior high level, are performing songs in multiple harmonies and languages, which is so cool. As someone who is not personally gifted in that performing arts category, I think it's so cool that they get to perform songs in different languages. And the challenge of different harmonies. On the left are pictures from the choir concert in the music program that happened in December. All of the choirs performed, so the treble choirs, men's choir, symphonic choir, and then we even had performances from Harmony Heights, which is the high school's a cappella group. And I have personally never seen them perform before this performance, and it was so cool. They have a beatboxer, and they're dancing and singing at the same time with no music. So cool. And then the picture in the bottom right is a picture of Cantare. Mr. Lane was there, so I don't know if you have anything to add, but we were in the middle section of the auditorium, and they surrounded us. The lights were off, and they had surrounded the middle section and sang, and it was so cool. I looked around, and I was like, how is everybody not just looking at these kids singing? It was so cool. People had their eyes closed because just the way they sang was so beautiful, and it was such a cool experience. I had never seen them perform either. I did learn that all of these choirs are performing multiple times. Harmony Heights and Cantare are performing in the community at different shows and fundraiser events, which is so cool. And I can't believe I've never touched on them before. I was in awe. Once I started learning about the music programs, I just kept going. For singers is the high school show choir. They just had their first competition last weekend. They were 4th overall at a competition I want to say was in Findlay. I haven't seen their show this year. It's the theme of diamonds and dance floors, and they're competing at Beaver Creek next week, which I'm going to try to make because I think it's their closest, if not one of their closest, performances to us. They're incredibly cool. The dresses are so beautiful, and I'm so excited to see their show. And then my last musical update is the musical auditions were today after school. The high school is performing Once Upon a Mattress this year, which is so exciting. I have never heard of that show, so I'm really excited to see all of what comes from those auditions today.
Let me add real quick. So if
Yeah.
you go back a picture, just two people kind of on the right. It's the Colemans, Jen and Rich Coleman. Rich builds the sets for the singers, volunteers a lot of time. He obviously has helps. I know he's involved in that. They keep it all in the family because Jen's mom tailored, I think, 50 gowns is what the number she told us that.
A lot of
Amazing.
gowns.
So just like in athletics, the amount of volunteers in the arts is also a very, something we appreciate a whole lot. And We had a great photographer that night.
I forgot to put picture credit on there. Mr. Lane did email me those pictures. I looked at my mom, she was sitting next to me, and I was like, do you think he'll send me those pictures for the board meeting? And a month later, here they are.
He's just wonderful.
I really like this picture. It's all of the choirs together. And we have several students who are performing in more than one choir. Again, I do not come from a musical talent, so seeing kids learn multiple songs in multiple different choirs is so crazy to me. It was so cool to see.
And well done, Mr. Beal. You put on a great show.
Oh yeah, for sure. My last quick update, Student Council has begun planning for all the second semester events. So prom, we started planning a while ago, last year, but we really dove into planning that more. So this year it is Saturday, April 18th. We have finally changed locations from Great Wolf Lodge. We will be at the Savannah Center in Westchester, which is where the Lebanon, the Warren County Daylight Prom is. Super pretty, and I'm super excited for that. No dinner is served this year, so ticket prices are a little cheaper, because it was just kind of like a theme that students were getting dinner before prom anyway, and then coming to prom and not eating the dinner. So we got rid of dinner this year, which allowed us to move locations. And I know a lot of my peers are super excited about not being at the Great Wolf Lodge anymore. And they were great and super accommodating for our size, but it is exciting to have a little location change. This year's theme is garden, so those are some Pinterest board pictures. The girls on student council, senior student council put together, kind of what we're going for. And then our last big event that student council is currently planning is graduation. This year we have already picked our speakers. So our Lebanon High School alumni speaking is Miss Heidi Calvert, and I'm super excited because she's obviously an assistant principal at the high school, and she's been with my grade, our senior class. She's been with us since our 7th grade year. We entered the junior high, and she was dean of students or assistant principal there. I might have that wrong.
She's the dean and the athletic director.
Yes, and then when we moved to the high school our freshman year, she moved with us. So I'm super excited just to hear from her at our graduation. And then President Kendall Heffel and I will also be speaking at graduation. We've already started planning that, as well as our salute and valedictorian.
Keeping that speech nice and short, right?
Oh, 100%. I think that's all the updates I have. Student Council is continuing having our classes volunteer within the community. I know freshmen and sophomores are coming up soon, so I'll update that next meeting.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Stevers, are you ready?
I can be ready. So a couple things that I had. First of all, January's Board Member Appreciation Month. First of all, January Board Member Appreciation Month, definitely turn the microphone on, so I wanted to make sure they captured that. And I just want to say on behalf of Karen and I and our staff, we regularly get to listen to stories and commiserate with other superintendents and treasurers around the area. And I cannot tell you how thankful I am for your leadership as a board, and the way that you care about our district, the way that you put time in outside of these meetings to be present for kids. And so just on behalf of the staff, I just want to say thank you. We've got several things planned, social media wise and, things throughout the month, but also just want to take the opportunity to thank you for the work that you do as a Board of Education. I appreciate it as somebody that spends a lot of time talking to all of you, and knowing that we have your support. That's huge for us, so thank you for that. And then the other thing is a district planning update. I kind of tried to be vague on the list of the report there, but I shared with, on the board packet to the community and with the Board of Education, I shared 2 things that we worked on within the last year. So I need to pull that up real quick. I want to show, I want to be able to show this to the staff, to the community, whoever may be watching. We did an enrollment study back in 2022, and it's not, there we go. Back in 2022, and we were looking at the time in that enrollment study of try to make this full screen, and so we worked with the company, and I'll zoom in where it's appropriate to do so, but We worked with a company called Future Think. Like I said, this is available in your packets. We're not going to look at the full report today. But a couple things I wanted to just address publicly, because it's the number one question I get, and I'm pretty sure it's the number one question all of you get, is how are we dealing with all of the growth? Do we have enough room? We're concerned about all the houses that are being built. And you know, we just have to go by the numbers that we see, and there's a little bit of fear in the houses and the neighborhoods. But what we're seeing actually right now is a pretty kind of, for us, an anomaly. We've actually had a dip in enrollment over the last 3 years. When we did our enrollment study, and I wrote some things down in my note here, because it's different than what we would have talked about 3 years ago in 2022. But when we did our enrollment study in April of 2022, at that time, our school district enrollment was 5,438 students. The actual enrollment at that time. When we did this enrollment study and it finalized in October, our enrollment was 5,120. We had seen a 318 student dip in overall student enrollment. There's a couple things for that. We can look at it a little bit. I asked today to pull an enrollment number today. As of this afternoon at 3:30, we had 5,088 students, but that's because we graduated 20 kids at semester break, and so we would be 5,108 students right now. So close to where we were beginning of the year with that number. So what we saw 3 years ago kind of came true, and we saw a decrease in enrollment. There were some low, mediums, and highs. So from the very beginning, to say this up front, we have the ability to grow by 300 students and not even be where we were 3 years ago. At our peak, back in the mid-2010s, we were somewhere closer to like 5,700 students with the spaces and the buildings that we have now. So, long story short, you know, consolidating this thing down is we do think that we're going to see some growth from the homes that are being built, but we've also, in the meantime, seen a dip in enrollment that I think even by worst case scenarios of the most recent assessment, we're back up to where we were, you know, 5 years ago, 3 to 5 years ago. So a couple things contribute to that. A couple things contribute to that, and I will see if I can get this back on my screen. And then, if we go down, one of the things we've seen is just nationally, birth rate is down. Fewer children being born. Another thing that contributes to this for us, in Ohio, you'll see this chart here, this is just looking kind of holistically, there are only 10 counties in the state of Ohio where there are more students enrolled in school in 2024 than there were in 2015. We are one of those 10 counties. We're one of the only counties in the state that's still growing. Ours is not as much as Delaware, which you think about the schools on the north side of Columbus. So you can see a historical progression here in this chart, and again, we don't need to take a whole lot of time, but you know, even going back to 2016, 2017, our enrollment was 5,508 students, and you know, this was 5,438. That's the year several years ago here in the middle that we did the study before. We've gone down. Why have we decreased? This is the first place to kind of point out something to you, is you'll notice, and I will show you, this first line at the top is preschool. The second line is kindergarten. We had 288 students this year in kindergarten. Going back to, you know, obviously COVID year is an outlier. Though typically, we usually looked at 350 students in kindergarten. we're at 288. The other thing that sort of, if you go back and look previously, what we would typically see and what we budgeted for in our looks was between kindergarten and first grade, we typically would receive 50 to 60 kids. We do not offer full-day kindergarten. We offer half-time kindergarten as a school district. And so students, what we would see traditionally is they would go to one of the private school providers that had full-time kindergarten, and then in first grade they would come to us. We're seeing that trend not happen in the last couple of years. The best that we can guess for there is the expansion of school choice vouchers is that I think once they start there, they're seeing a little bit more of them stay. We did have a little bit this year, 48, but we didn't start with that number. So our kindergarten numbers are down, our first grade numbers are down, and we're seeing a lot of those 300 kids, that loss is happening in the lower grades. What are we doing about that? We're being intentional about looking at class sizes and student enrollment. And so from last year to this year, we had a resignation or a retirement that we didn't replace in second grade. And so this year we had 15 sections of second grade instead of 16. And it didn't abnormally affect our class sizes. And so we're going to continue to look at that. If we have retirements or resignations, are we able to not replace that teacher based off of the groups of kids that are coming? So there may be years where we have 15 sections of first grade and next year we have 16, or in that fluctuation. Kindergarten is another area where we had a half-time kindergarten that we hired to replace a full, but we were able to get somebody who was also TESOL trained, the ability to teaching English as second language students. And so it gave us the ability to kind of get some additional services while also just increasing our class size a little bit. So we're being intentional. Before we hire anybody to replace a resignation or a retirement, we've been looking at class sizes, we've been looking at enrollment trends and things like that. And so we've been able to, over the last couple of years, even reduce a few teachers in spots. And so that's the thing we're going to continue to do. So that's kind of a big picture look at how do you get enrollment shrinking. And there are several entry points. We had no idea until we've seen this sort of play out. Typically students would stay at a private school in town or neighboring schools. We have several re-entry points, one of which was in 5th or 6th grade. They would come back and vary. Parents have said, I want my kid to get back into the school prior to going to the junior high and to meet some people. Another entry point typically happens in 7th grade or then in 9th grade. So we haven't seen as much of an impact on our upper grades because we still continue to have that pathway. But a couple other things just to point out as we're looking at some data. We have this, I would encourage you, it's a long document, but if you're at all interested, it is like a deep dive into baby birth rate, the number of people living in houses. One of the things we talked about, you're talking about the average age, and you look at the median, all those things. People don't typically move away from Lebanon. They buy a house and they stay. And so unless we're building houses that young families and people can move into that have kids, people are staying, their kids graduate, and they don't move. And so we're not replacing that like in some communities where they're moving and downsizing.
And I did see this in there, but I think, in my opinion, we're going to see that this is exasperated right now because you think about the families that have freshmen in college down to maybe sophomores. They bought those houses 15 years ago when rates were 3%. Now the rates are 6%. Who's going to buy a smaller house for the same house payment? They're going to stay put. Once that changes and all these houses vacate, and I kind of disagree with the study because I think these new houses are going to be an influx of a major influx of students. I hope I'm wrong. I like Lebanon the size it is, but you can't build 2,000 or 3,000 homes And I noticed that the study said most of those are gonna be like young kids. I also think we're gonna see entries.
We'll see it across the place, but until we see what happens, right, they're all breaking grounds now or whatever. I mean, the national number that they use, the average, when we did this several years ago, I think it was like, they were using something like a little over 1 kid per house in a single family home. The average, the number they put in here for projection purposes is 0.7 kids per house. Just based off of the number of houses that all have kids, that's the national average, according to this, is 0.7 kids per house. The average on that they utilize for this study for apartment complexes, because we have a new one that's getting ready to open up behind Walmart, and they use 0.2 kids per unit, because those apartments are 1 and 2 bedrooms. There aren't a whole lot of 2 and 3 bedroom houses, apartments in those, and that's the number that they use for that enrollment. So I'm not the expert. I don't know, right? This is based off of national averages and everything. We have seen a decrease. We've got some room to go before we see it back to where we were even 3 years ago. One of the things that this list looks at how many students are living in our community that don't go to school here. You know, we have a fairly significant homeschool population. Going back to around COVID, we saw an increase of about 100 students during COVID, and that stayed up. Stayed up. We're at 417 homeschool families that are students this year. The other thing that's on here is you'll see the increase in Ed Choice vouchers. So students, families using the voucher. Vouchers came into effect between the 22 and 23 school year and 23-24 school year. We did not see a decrease in 500 students out of our district. The majority of those students are people that are using a voucher that never attended Lebanon City schools, or they started in kindergarten and have continued. But you'll see that voucher expansion happen here. If that were to go away, if that were to slide back, if the rules on that were to change, obviously that changes our enrollment things as well, but this is based off the information we have at the time. So those are, you'll see there, some of those trend data. Again, this is information that we have available for all of you to see if you have any questions about it. We took this information, so is there any questions about the enrollment study? Or this is information we have the ability to kick this around some other time, but I wanted to share tonight because it's a question I see a lot. The other thing I would like to share is just to give you an idea of how this other document works. Not the best way. This is the space. This is the space utilization study. So it's not ideal, but it's the best way I've got it. Like this. So there is and I have paper copies that I've requested for all of the school board members to have a paper copy of this that's bound, so you can have it. And it's a great reference to even look at our current buildings as they are, and for future discussions around how we use the space. The goal for us was to look at. We worked with Voorhees Sloan architects out of Mason. And they came in and assessed all of our spaces, looked at utilization, and said, how are you currently utilizing the space? Are there opportunities within the current shell that you have to squeeze out some classroom space and to expand? Or what's the most likely options for possible additions or modifications to your building? Again, I do not want to go through all of this, but I do want to just look at this page. There's one for every building. We're going to look at Bowman for a second, and I can explain how this fits together. You'll see over here on this side, on this side of this, the page on the left, that's the enrollment, and that's off of this year's enrollment. And over to the right, they're using the information from the enrollment study. So we marry the two of these things together to say, what's the conservative model, what's the moderate advancement model, what's the high growth. At 1,076 students, our building size is 129,000 square feet. By state requirements, the school facilities requirements, we should be at 116. So we have more space now in the overall square footage than what the state requires us to have. And you can go over here and look then, if we were to grow, how many square feet would the formula say that we need? You know, this is saying we need to look at additional square footage if we were to get to 1,200 students, because then we're getting close to what we actually have in our student in that facility. Does that make sense what we're looking at here? If we were to grow, you know, if we were to get the high projections, then we would need to maybe look at adding some space to Bowman. What types of spaces? Is it classrooms? Is it whatever? And then that's where it goes down here and begins to look at other options. So, for example, academic classrooms, specials, music, art, you know, things like that. And student dining, what's the square footage that's required? What do we actually have? You'll see that administrative services were already sort of behind. There aren't a whole lot of offices and places to meet with kids individually or private in that building. It's one of the areas that right now, and the people using that space sort of feel it, right? We're constantly shuffling people to different spaces. So this was a good look for us to see what are some of the things that we need. We're also a little bit behind when it comes to kitchen prep. That's the food service line there. Custodial services and building services, the rooms for storage, custodial spaces. So this is designed to take a snapshot look at what is there, what is required currently, so are there any current deficiencies, and then what would we need to look at if we were to hit these enrollment charts and growths. So I wanted to share all this with the board. We've utilized this to look at some of the things, and then they have a really good map of the current facility. That's just by the way, it's a crazy large building for preschool through second grade, but it's designed to have a wing that goes straight up there on the map that would match sort of the one off to the right. It's designed, it's already graded that way. It would be a place that we could grow without really much modifications. Here are some things that we in the building that are overutilized or underutilized currently, based off of things. Here's some recommendations that they gave. So every building has a similar plan just like this. You see that they recommended an addition here. They recommend going around the current media center and adding some hallways that would have a few classrooms maybe in it, and pushing the media center out to that courtyard, and then allowing the current media center to be used for additional student dining, which is one of the areas that really needs more space. So there are some suggestions here. It was a really helpful process for us. We need to begin to have some discussions as we start to experience some of these things, and probably within the next year or so, about what are possibilities of what we would need to consider. Do we want to get bigger in all of our buildings? There are suggestions for wings and additions to everything. Is that the best option for us? Do we want to continue with the grade configurations that we have? Do we think we need a new building in a different location in our district as opposed to making the ones we have bigger? Those are all the discussions that Voorhees Sloan would help guide us through, but it's a great starting point for us. So I wanted to make sure that I talked about it here and to let you, the board, and the community know we are having these discussions and looking at this on a regular basis. And right now, I'm not alarmed based off the information that I have. And this growth is projection on the high end, 200 houses a year. That's the high end projection, 200 houses a year. And at 0.7 kids per house. Some of those 200 are going to be senior living, that aren't going to be, single family homes. So that's where this all comes from. I would like to hope that this is accurate. I share somewhat of the same skepticism of Mike on but it feels like it's going to be worse. I think the good news for us right now is it's not necessarily happening immediately.
Those ones across from Bowman are going up in a hurry. Yes.
So we did have, strategic plan where they gave us the enrollment study. They said we were going to be flat for like 5 years and then an explosion. It was kind of, we even said, really? We think it's coming next year? Is that?
That was the original study that was done in 2022, was this moderate growth.
So in the 80s, when I was in school, Mr. Gardner was our superintendent, and at that time, enrollment was flat and going down. And he told me that one of his biggest challenges was he had to do reduction in staff. You know, which new teacher you have to remove because enrollment was going down. Once he left, the next 2 administrations never prepared for all the growth that came. And that's why some of the financial things happened here in the 90s. Because it was no growth, and then it exploded. And Mason can't grow anymore, Westchester can't grow, Springfield.
Well, that's what when I saw Warren County was like 1%, yeah, but pockets of Warren County could be much greater than 1%.
And I think it's good, I'll say that that's why we're back, because I think we have some serious decisions to make, so we don't get caught 10, 12 years down the road in a situation that led the schools caught in the 90s. We're just thinking, well, that was going to change. We know it's coming.
So one of the things I thought was interesting on here in terms of why do we see this now is looking at the last several years, and I'm going to try to find it real quick. There's charts
You're
going.
back on the other one.
I'm back on the other page, on the other document, and it's on page, for anybody that cares, on page 32. On the other document, it lists the number of building permits issued for single-family dwellings, and it lists them by year. So in 2021, people sat at home during the pandemic. They decided they're going to build a house. Interest rates were low, and there were 59 building permits pulled in 2021 in our school district. 54 pulled in 2022. 2023, 11. 2024, 8. 2025 until June, 15. So there was a several-year lull in construction. That was
inflation and cost.
Right, that was blamed off, and the enrollment study in 2022 said, if the conditions continue as they are right now in 2022, then we're projecting like moderate growth for you. If the interest rates go up and the building costs go up and all of these factors hit, which happened, then construction is going to go down. So not only did we see fewer babies being born and entering school, which is happening nationwide, we saw for us in the last 2 years a significant decrease in new construction. Now, there are 8 new houses in one neighborhood across from Bowman, like last week it feels like, right? It's turning around.
I think to Rolly's point, on the other chart on that page, Warren County, for the multi-family dwellings, there were 186 total in Warren County. Lebanon had 160 of them.
That's from January to June of 2025.
Yeah.
That's
For
the
half the
beginning.
year.
For half the year.
So Warren County had 26
We had
permits,
90%
we had
of them.
160.
We had 90%.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's coming.
It's coming.
It is coming.
Yes. But we will continue to monitor the numbers. We'll continue to check in. I ask regularly where we're at in terms of that, and I, every once in a while, just wanted to give an update. That's longer than I wanted to talk about it, but it's also the #1 question I get from people, and I'm sure you get that a lot as well. So, if anybody would like to talk more about that, these documents are lengthy, and we just touched on it tonight. Let me know, we can sit and chat about it.
Did you say they were going to get copies of both of those for us?
I can make a printed copy for the enrollment study for you, but I do know that the facility study, they're dropping off bound copies this week to the architect for board members, Karen and I. So I'll give you a copy of that.
I still don't have a printer.
Is this on board docs for the public to get a copy
It
as
is.
well?
Both of these reports are public on board docs if anybody wants to look at them in board docs. The 2 things we just looked at. Good, Karen, anything else you'd like to add? I'm done, thanks.
Very good. Moving on, any other questions on time? Moving on to agenda section 10, the organization of public hearing. And we're going to have to do each one of these as an individual motion. There's no consent items here. So I am going to need a
Mr.
motion.
McCutcheon, we don't actually need a motion on the public hearings.
Okay.
The rest you do, but not these two.
Okay. So, okay. Got it.
So we'll open the public hearing. We're first going to talk about the annual tax budget, and I have a presentation here. We do this every year in January, so this is something that is required by Ohio Revised Code. I used a very similar format, but just because it does allow for public participation, so prepare yourselves if you want to talk. Audience, you're welcome to talk. But because it allows for public education, I want to make sure, or public conversation, I want to make sure to let folks know what this is. So if you go to the next slide, this talks a little bit about our budget timeline. So tax budget historically has been a document that the state required of every governmental entity within the state. They were to provide a tax budget and submit it to the county budget commission. So that for us happened in January, that time frame. And basically we're estimating how much money is coming in for the next school year. And currently we're basing that off of what I just presented in October from the financial forecast. I will say for this particular, because of the changes legally that have been happening surrounding forecasts and even the tax budget, I've shifted that to, I'm creating a February forecast. So as much as I could, I've updated the revenues for the February and have used that in this particular year. So just be aware, typically it is the one behind, but this one I'm looking forward a little bit just to give you a little bit better output. So from this, we'll submit this to the county, and this happens in January. We have some timelines to follow. The county will give us back what's called the Certificate of Estimated Resources. They will also provide us with some rates for our property tax levies. And we'll go into some more detail in the next slide, but that is something I will bring back to the board for your all's approval. We submit that back, and then the county uses that to levy our property taxes. In April, we'll come back to you. So in January, we really build our revenues, right? And then we start planning all of our expenses based on what we anticipate happening in the revenue side. So April, we'll come back to you with our operating budget proposal. You all will review that, make sure that looks good. We'll submit that to the county budget commission. The county will look at that and give us what is called temporary appropriations. That gives us the approval. You've approved it as a board. The county has approved it. From a levy perspective, that gives us the approval to actually spend in the new school year. Turn around to June, we finalize everything. We bring in the 10-year capital improvements. We bring in any student activity groups that have their own budgets. We bring in the operating, we update revenues based on the historical trend of that fiscal year, that school year, so we give you a final result. Once we submit that to the county, they then give us what are called permanent appropriations. So just a brief timeline of what we're doing here. The next slide talks about specifically today's purpose for the public hearing. What is the tax budget? So I want you to think about this as really, we are anticipating what revenues we're going to get, but we're also demonstrating to the county what we will need in property tax levy. So our voters have approved a specific millage, a specific dollar amount for the county to levy on our behalf. This statement of need tells the county, yes, the district actually needs those funds at their total to use for its programming, for its staffing, those types of things. I did not talk to you about this last year because it wasn't as important. This year in particular, we've had a lot of property tax reform, a lot of legislation, a lot of impact. So this tax budget has become very important. Some counties waive this. They don't require their governmental entities, and I'm referring to cities, villages, school districts, all of them. They don't require this. Warren County has always required this, and I believe they will continue. I've heard that some of those counties who have waived it are actually going back to requiring it. Because now the legislation has allowed the Budget Commission the authority to say, we are over collecting, or you have too big of a cash balance, we need to reduce what you're collecting on property taxes. So this statement of need has become very important in our state currently. What it doesn't do, you are not approving any kind of spending, right? So that comes, if you remember back in April, we're going to do the temporary appropriations. That's the vehicle by Ohio Revised Code that allows us to spend. This does not do that. It does not serve as our operating budget. The numbers I'm giving you now are for next school year. And as you can imagine, we are 6 months out of data. This is going to morph and change as we find the revenues that we're getting, as we find the expenses that are actually being incurred. So a lot of things are going to shift. What it does do is it shows all of our data, our financial data, and it takes that and provides it to the county in a specified format. So there is a section in Ohio Revised Code that spells out exactly what we have to provide. That covers that one. For our community, for you all, we talk about this a lot at board meetings, but just so the community is aware, in our tax budget, our district has multiple funds, the majority of which is that blue bar, is our general fund. So in the tax budget, we have to specifically give detail on any fund that receives property taxes. The biggest one for us is our general fund, of course. We also have a capital projects fund that receives property tax. We have a classroom facilities fund that receives property tax. And we have a bond retirement fund, which is our second largest item there, that receives property tax funds. So we have to give very specific detail to the county on those. But we also have to report on everything else. So you remember the legislation changed the authority a little bit. We have to show that we don't have huge excess balances in all of these other funds that we're just sitting on and not using. That is something that is coming in our future for all school districts in Ohio. So that is something that we are looking at as well. We're presenting all of this data in this tax budget. So when the board comes to approve this item, there's a lot of detail coming in there, but I want to reconfirm, this is not giving us any authority to spend anything. This is not our final budget. This is simply the first planning tool we have to present to the county. Historically, how I've used this is I've used it literally to project revenues. What are our revenues looking like? That's my first step for talking through how much do we have to spend. I'm still going to be using it that way, but also understand there are legal implications now that didn't exist a year ago. So just a slight shift in how we think about the tax budget. So very briefly, this document is provided in your documents, but just a quick look at what we're doing here. We are providing 3 years of actual data. We're providing what we think will happen this school year, and then what we think will happen next year. Now, I've based most of these revenues, again, on the February forecast that I've started updating. These numbers are by no means done and sealed, but it's the best guess I have right now. There are still some things in fluctuation. I also do that on the expense side. So I have to provide this for every fund that gets property tax levies. The ones that do not are very summary version, but this year they did require us to provide actuals where they haven't before. So I put in an extra page in there that is just actuals of all the other funds. Again, I think it's this idea of making sure we're spending things appropriately in funds outside of property tax. funds that receive property taxes. So I will touch in much greater detail when we provide the February forecast. But overall, as I'm working through this forecast, I think the important message on this slide and the next slide is that our revenue projections are declining. I did have a great question outside of the board meeting. Revenues aren't declining as in today it's $100, tomorrow it's $90, but what we're projecting is declining. And so if you've listened to any of my conversations about revenues typically flatline when they compare against our expenses. Expenses grow around 4% on average. Revenues are pretty static. They don't grow a tremendous amount. However, when we have 20 to 30% property value increases, and that we couple that with, we as a district were at the 2004, we were seeing very large increases. And that's what a lot of the property tax reform was trying to combat, is these large increases. Well, effectively what that does is it reduces what we could have received. So on average for the last few years, we've received anywhere from $2 to $3 million annually more in revenue. With all of the changes, we are going to see maybe a 600 to 800,000 increase a year, maybe. There are still some things rolling out, still some things that could shift, and quite honestly, a little scary on my part, right? So we are monitoring this very closely as we can. A lot of the property tax legislation has been passed. It's the implementation that is how does it work? So
Karen, I just want to clarify,
yeah.
And correct me, I'm sorry if you already said this. That's not an immediate change that's happening. There's a phase in for us that we're held harmless because of where we were in reappraisal cycles.
Yes.
So we have a little bit of a runway here that happens. I'm sorry if you're getting to that, but I want to make sure it's not effective in January. We have about a year and a half or so. But it's significant. The property tax reform, all four of those bills that were passed, all four of them have significant implications for us. We were at the floor, we have a substitute levy, we were in a largely growing county in terms of property values. They all impact us. And it's going to have to be addressed in some way.
And fortunately for us, the CAC committee has been meeting about this already. So we've already started the process of talking about that planning. We as an administrative team are doing the same thing. We've already, this was already mentioned, that we are planning from an HR perspective. What do we need based on enrollment? So those are great things that are going to, I think, help us through this. But it is going to be a shift in how we think about our operations. So more to come as we talk with CAC and the board next month. The other thing we just talked about, enrollment. So as enrollment declines, we get a certain amount from the state. Well, that's decreasing because enrollment is decreasing. That makes sense. The other side of that on the state funding formula is our property values continue to rise. So it looks like our district is wealthier, but we're not seeing the property tax revenue growth. So effectively, we are losing money. Now, we are on the guarantee, which is great, and again, I'll talk more about that next month. But we are currently on the guarantee, so we're not actually losing money. But I wanted to mention it because it does impact our revenues with with enrollment declines and how the state funding formula works. Any questions on that? Any clarifications? This is a chart that comes straight out of our forecasting software. The dotted line was what we were projecting revenues to do, and you can see the steady decline. The black line is the new projection with all of the property tax reform. So you can see it is quite a substantial difference on percentage of revenue that we're going to be collecting. Again, still some things out in the air there that we need to work through legislatively, but that is the basis for the assumptions that are built in the tax budget. Now it is open to public for comment.
Yeah, I'm just finding all this very interesting. Thank you.
Great. Okay, then I will close that public hearing. Thank you.
Did you do B as well, Karen? Okay.
Okay, so, same slide deck. Actually, we will now open the public hearing for the federal ESEA and IDEA funds. So this is again something I do annually. We are required by the state to do this. Well, actually federally, we're required to offer the ability for our public to talk and speak to our budget, specifically on our ESEA and IDEA grants. I've provided you the information here in the slides, but basically, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, think all of your title money. So Title I, Title II, 3, 4, so on and so forth. We get about, and I looked at last year's amounts, we got about 1.2 million in the ESEA grant funding. This is federal funding, and if you remember a few months back, there was a freeze on some of those monies. We have received those, but there has been significant analysis and discussion on these federal funds for school districts. So we get about 1.2 million in total in all of our titles. And then on our IDEA side, this is the Individual with Disabilities Education Act, we get also about 1.2 million, specifically for our special needs students. So budgeting here, yes. On the next slide, this shows how we budget those funds. As you might imagine, 1.2 million does not cover the cost for educating these students, not even a little bit. What the federal government requires for these grants is it has to be above and beyond what we already would have spent and do spend on those students. These grant funds have to improve, grow, what have you. We have what's called a maintenance of effort formula that we have to follow, that we have to provide that same level of service annually. This money goes on top of that to garner additional support. Primarily, most of this is going to personnel. So we hire staff who can specifically help those students. The other big one here is purchase services. And then we also have some professional development and supplies. So those, for both of the federal grants areas, predominantly use those monies for additional personnel to really drive some improvements as far as smaller sizes and bigger impact from that. Okay, so this opens the public floor, so if anyone from the public has any comments, none, I will close the public hearing for this one.
Anything else? Good. Okay, so moving on, well, I need a motion for C and D now.
Yes.
Is that correct? We discussed. Okay, I need a motion to approve agenda section 10, item C, the dates and times of our regular board meetings.
So moved.
Second.
So it is recommended that we continue having our board meetings on the third Monday of every month at, doesn't have a time, but 6 p.m. Unless that falls on a legal holiday, it would be Tuesday at 5:45.
The 5:45 was there because of the, been having the community builders thing prior to that. So the meeting itself starts at 6, and the community builders start at 5:45. As long as the board, we can talk about this, and as long as you are happy with the way that's going at 5:45 to have the student recognized. We can continue to do that. You'll notice on the sheet that was given on the board meeting dates, there are several things I want to point out that we tried to be proactive this time around and look at a few things. Monday, February 16th is President's Day, so according to this, we're moving to Tuesday, as we've traditionally done. It's listed. March 23rd is not the date it would normally be. We had to change the date of that meeting. We did so specifically because there are specific timelines that we have to follow if employees want to retire and then be reconsidered for rehiring, and there has to be 30 days in between meetings or 60 days in between things. So moving it to March 23rd, try to keep it on a Monday, that gives us that timeline that we've worked out that could work. We do know we have at least one employee in a high needs area that is requesting that this year, that we've struggled to find a person in that position all year long. They're working currently as a sub, so we think we'll have something like that to bring back in February and March. We need to keep that date. I asked to move the May board meeting from the 18th to the 11th, unless there's anything from any conflicts with any of your schedules on having it on May 11th. The reason being is May 18th, there are multiple choir concerts in the auditorium. It's typically the end of the year concert season. There's nothing currently on the schedule for May 11th for school purposes, but is that okay with the board to move that up 1 week to May 11th? It's not the third Monday like normal, so it's an exception to the rule here. I just want to make sure that if anybody has a conflict, to let me know. We can keep it on the 18th if you would prefer, but then that's just one less kind of conflict with the ability to count. If anybody has a problem with May 11th, let me know. We can always go back. And then the last one that's an exception to the typical rule on here is down in November. We had it on Wednesday because Monday in November is the OSBA conference. So this year we had to move it because of OSBA. We figured we'd look at it ahead of time.
The December date, haven't we been going second Monday, December? Is it so close to Christmas?
I mean, if you would, as a board, prefer to do that, I think we just didn't move it unless we had to.
So anytime you move it to the second Monday in a month, that is a conflict for me. So if we do it occasionally, but if we do that like, 4 times over the next year, that's a huge issue for me.
So the 23rd is not a problem in March,
Right.
but the May 11th is an issue for you.
It would be, but like I said, if we're just gonna do it a couple times, that's okay, but if we're gonna start like November, December, if we do it too much, I can't do that.
I'm fine with December 21st. I just thought some other people were saying something about Christmas concerts and stuff.
No, December
The
21st.
21st is, school's out on the 21st.
I was saying December
Okay,
21st.
so we're good. Okay.
Should be.
The one question I have though, the document in the packet says 6 o'clock and this says 5:45. I think we need to make this say 6 o'clock because community builders is at 5:45, but we need to be consistent here. So we need to redo the motion, update the document.
I put a note in here to do it, because I think that's what this means, but it needs to be clarified if this is.
Do we have to redo the motion or can we do it before we vote?
No, I think
Change the,
we
to
need
6
to
o'clock?
change it, yeah.
Know that you're voting on a 6 o'clock start time for the board meeting. So I wanted to clarify why there are a couple of different changes there before you voted and see if there's any other issues that you had. So, thank you.
And in the July special meeting, that's to approve the contract.
Yeah, we
I'm
may or
glad
may
you
not have
scheduled
it.
it.
We may or may not have it. It's to get something close to July 10th, which is the state retirement, or state deadline to resign without licenses being impacted. So, yes. Thank you.
Anybody else have any? Ms. Irvin, roll please.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mr. Cleotti?
Yes.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I need a motion to approve agenda section 10. D, our organizational meeting on January 11th, 2027 for next year.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Ms. Irvin?
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mr. Cleotti?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Again, in agenda section 10, E, item E, 1 through 6. need a motion to approve the treasurer consent authorization.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'll just read through it real quick. One is authorize treasurer to pay bills, authorize treasurer to make investments, 3 is authorize treasurer to purchase liability insurance, 4 is authorize treasurer as the district signatory, 5, authorize treasurer to request advancements of tax monies, 6, appoint treasurer as public records training designee, 7, appoint the treasurer as the tax and sales council representative. And any questions about agenda section 10, item B 1 through 7?
Those are consistent with what we do now.
That's standard.
Standard.
Boards.
Yep, no questions.
Any other questions? Ms. Irvin, roll please.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mr. Gliotti?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Again, back to agenda section 7. Item F, need a motion to authorize or superintendent authorization consent items 1 through 6, please.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, I'll just read through it real quick. Authorize superintendent to designate the funds grants. Authorize superintendent to employ temporary personnel. Authorize the superintendent to accept resignations. Authorize the superintendent to be the board designee for the purpose of hearing final student suspension appeals. Appoint the superintendent as the district's purchasing agent. Authorize the superintendent to approve contracts that are under $50,000 and have already been appropriated. Any questions? Agenda section 10, item F 1 through 6.
And standard board.
Standard-
Also
standard
same,
stuff.
no questions.
Ms. Irvin, roll please.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mr. Gliotti?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, and still in our agenda item, or agenda section 10, item G, other organizational consent items. I need a motion to approve those consent items in G 1 through 7.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so these again are, we do every year, one is to waive the reading of the minutes. 2 is authorize the use of the following law firms, East Britton, Creighton, Ross Brown Todd, and Joel. 3 is our news media sources. 4 is our annual board memberships. 5 is establish a board service fund. 6 is establish a records commission. 7 is tax budget adoption. Any questions about those items? Ms. Irvin, roll please.
Mr. Gliotti?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, agenda section 10, the H area board member appointments. I need a motion to approve and assign these appointments, 1, 2, 3, and 4, please.
So moved.
Second.
So the first one is the capital conference. In the past, the board president has always been the primary and the vice president has been the alternate, if everybody is okay with that. Appointment, number 2 is appointment as student achievement liaison. Mrs. Dalton, are you good to continue at that?
Yes, I'm happy to do that.
No one wants to call you after you're done. Number 3 is appointment as the legislative information liaison. And Mrs. Coe, are you good to continue on there?
Yes, but be happy to.
Thank you very much. An appointment as Community Audit Advisory Committee. It pleases the board to continue to have Mr. Gliotti and myself on that Community Audit Advisory Committee. We would both like to continue doing that. Any questions about those appointments? Sir, are you ready?
Mr. Lane,
Yes.
Mr. Gliotti,
Yes.
Mrs. Dalton,
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon,
Yes.
Mrs. Coe,
Yes.
And then I think the reason we didn't do the one at the Career Center, that's a 3-year, two or three?
It's actually 4, and I still have 2 years
2
on it.
years, okay. Because I was looking on it, and I started sending an email, like, oh, wait a minute. Like a 2 through 1 year. So agenda 10I, the Community Audit and Advisory Committee, I need a motion to approve all members for the calendar year 2026. Motion.
So moved.
Second?
So one of the things we've done with the TAC committee is we've put better guidelines in. One of the things that we thought would be appropriate is that all members be approved by the full board each year. So,
How is this list determined?
how's that?
How are the list of people determined?
We asked people to join.
Or they volunteer.
Volunteer.
But, I mean, how does the CAP committee come up with the list and ask the people? I mean, I'm just saying, because if you're asking the board to approve the people, but we don't have any say in who's on the CAP committee, correct?
I guess you could bring it down.
So
But I also think if you have anybody you'd like to be on it, it's not limited to these
No.
people.
Yeah,
Could be
you can, we
30 if we have them, yeah.
I was just curious how
I
the
think
list
they'd love
is
to have more
determined.
members, right?
Yeah, we're always looking.
Yeah, they don't have
Anybody come
people.
that was
Also-
gonna be my comment, is there were a couple months there that Mr. Gliotti asked specifically for volunteers from the public.
Yeah,
We just didn't get
we don't get.
any responses.
How is that, published, or?
During the board, it was during the board report.
During the board meeting?
And I asked people, like Tina Flag was someone I just ran into. She was at the board meeting watching something else, and I said, hey, you want to be on this committee?
I mean, we could do a social media post asking if anybody's interested, and see if get any more people come forward.
What's the maximum that you want, or like,
I think we have.
minimum, maximum?
Count the chairs in here, they could. It's in this room. They could easily, you know, 4 to 6 more would
I
easily.
think like the minimum is like 7 total, right? Including me and Mr. Gliotti, so right now we're like at 8. We always have, in some meetings, we have 2 people.
What is the rule? Do they like vote on the direction of the district, or they just, no?
Providing input.
We
Yeah,
just,
it
we
was in a
just
sounding
input, discuss.
So the only thing they voted on are the rules for themselves, which they then they voted to present it to you as a board.
Thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, we're always looking for people to be on, especially if they have, good financial, like King Flag had a lot of accounting, so I found out what her background was,
I think we'd love to see some more downtown business owners get involved.
I think that was my question. I just wasn't sure how the list was determined to get a good cross-section of business owners and people from the community.
I think,
I would say it's all are welcome, but this is who
Yeah.
shows up.
yeah.
Right, these are the folks who showed up.
3 of those people were on the committee when Karen and I came. And the other 3, because of people who have gone off, the other 3 have been either added, I mean, Mike, Bill, and Chris have been, they were added
Right.
when Eric was here. So,
do they have the commitment to show up to every meeting, or what's their commitment if they would say, if someone would show up and say, I want to join this, is there a certain date that they have to join by, and just at any point?
So there was really actually like 4 years ago, Karen, you started like October or something. Mike was 2 years before that, but we kind of struck the whole thing. There was a lot of structure.
And do new members have to be voted on, just like we're voting on these?
Yeah. So let's say you know somebody that would want to do it, they could come to a CAC meeting and join and participate, then we would have to vote on them to join at the next board meeting.
Okay.
So like when Mr. Gliotti was put on, we voted for him to be put on the CAC committee, so like 3 years ago.
Yes.
2 years ago. And then like 18 of us 2 years ago. During the board meeting, we had, but this is, we're gonna vote on the full board every year.
Okay.
Never done that, never been done. So, just so everybody knows who's on it. But, you know, we'll take anybody with good financial and good opinion.
I would say it's probably really important that this group can grow and have some background on community and issues, because if we're going to be looking at the type of financial situation that we have, that we're facing, it's really important to get some input from that. The whole point of it was when we started in the fiscal watch as a district, we were required to do this. We were required to have a community group that met. And it's continued long after it was required. Of people to advise the district on decisions and direction and things like that. So I think it's probably really important to have a set group of people that can come and share opinions about financial things. I think it's a good thing to do.
And I think other board members can go, they just can't talk, right? So if you guys want to come to it.
Because there's a 2 board member limit.
And if you had 3, you'd actually have a
Board
You'd have a board meeting, yeah.
You'd have to do, like a public notification and.
Which we do that, they're open, they are currently subject to.
They're open, yeah.
To the sunshine law.
You just couldn't make a decision in that
Correct.
meeting. That's the issue.
Correct.
The
Which
three
we
of you
don't
could-
really, we don't make decisions, the board, this board makes decisions, the CAC committee.
We could all show to the meeting.
Yeah,
quite
we just,
honestly.
kick around ideas. And Chris Johnson is great, as a member, and Mike Faulkner, with his real estate background, he's good. And Chris Johnson's great.
I think also Mr. Severs touched on when we had issues, I think the hope was also that this group could communicate those out to the public as well, with, the groups that they personally belong to and interactions that they would have in the community.
Sort of a key communicator group as well, right?
Yes.
You give them information so they can share them with their groups of people. So if you belong to a Kiwanis, Rotary associations like that may be helpful, then I think that would be great to see if there's other people that would like to participate in it.
I think it would be, sometimes we have like 4 people, it's kind of frustrating.
And then it's just specific financial information.
Karen kicks around stuff.
So all of these people have financial background?
No.
That was I guess that was what I was that was my original question, was how are these people placed on this list and committee? Because you're saying because of their financial input in the community, but they're not all financial people, correct?
It was based on interest.
Yeah, I mean, really, anybody that's like a decent person, I'm happy to have them there. I mean, it's not my committee, I'm just on it.
And its primary function will always be oversight of my office, right? The forecast is huge, it covers 2 of our 4 meetings, the forecast. But also, it does drive a lot of the, what should I do next kind of things.
One other question, so I don't wanna just wear down this whole subject here, but, so, if a person can kind of come in and out of this, and float in and out, or people can be added into, how would you potentially delete someone? And then on top of it, is it really necessary to name these members of the board if it's so fluid? Because you're legitimizing it by naming members, which is something that we've never done in the past. That's just my question, it's not very solid.
I'm uncomfortable with creating a committee with not the other 5 board members approving who's on the committee. Yeah, that's why we're doing it, I think, right?
I believe so, yeah, and I would say to your question, you as a board have that authority. If this is truly a board committee, which it is legally, it's a board committee, you would have the authority to say, here are the members. Sally, you're not gonna be on it, but Susie, you are. You could have that authority. If we got such a big interest, we could absolutely take resumes and you can make decisions from that, but it's been very difficult to get the number that we have. And so,
Yeah, I've probably asked 8 people, 9 people, the last couple of years.
and these are the folks who are showing up
Yeah, they
on
show
the
up.
regular.
And express an interest in getting involved in something.
Yeah.
Karen's the one that presented to me, I go to several of them a year. I just think that it's important to have, as many people as possible, and if the board wants to say they need to come to a certain number of meetings before we're going to approve them, and anybody can show up to a public meeting. And these are the people, to my understanding, who have committed to coming when the meetings are scheduled, because they want to be a part and have a consistent voice in it. So, anybody's welcome to attend the public meeting that's published. I don't know you guys approve bylaws, so I don't know if the bylaws require the committee members to be approved.
It does not require them to be approved, we set minimums and
I would maybe propose to Lane in a little bit to maybe set some parameters on some requirements to be on it, or timelines, or credentials, or qualifications. And if it's not a problem, just kind of delaying in a couple months until some of these things are considered.
we would need a motion to change what you're approving or a vote.
Table, right?
Yes. Yeah, a motion to change the current to a table. Or a motion.
Which maybe you can come back, review it next month.
Bring it to the CAC committee.
I'll make a motion. Hey, go next up.
Sure. Yeah. I'll make a motion to table.
All right, that will be the second.
Second.
Ms. Urban, roll the table.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mr. Gliardi?
No.
Mr. McCutcheon?
No.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
All right, moving on to agenda section 11. I need a motion to approve the financial consent items A through H.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Urban? Back to you.
All right, here we go. This one will be brief, because I took up all my time on tax budget. Okay, So I left in the October forecast, because as I mentioned, I have started on the February forecast, but I have quite a ways to go to shore up those numbers. So just again, I like to give you that visual of where we're sitting. And then taking a look at the next slide, cash balance, we are half of the year in already. It goes so quickly now. Okay, so the gray bar is where we're actually sitting right now, and you can see it is slightly less than what we were estimating, and it is different than the actuals from last year. This is the same trend that we see typically, but we're looking at right now 76 days of operating cash, anticipating ending the year with 105. And I've said this before, you're going to see this get lower. The current operating cash will get lower in the next month, just because we haven't got our property tax revenues yet. Those will be coming at the start of, in February, March timeframe. So you're going to see one more month of dip where we use cash balance before it starts building up again. So looking at our actuals, 50% of the month is, or 50% of the year is over. So we target that for our revenues and expenses. We are slightly under that in revenues and slightly over that in expenditures. Not usually the trends I like to see, but with revenues, we know the estimates are very close. There's a very small variance. We know that we typically get a smaller amount of property taxes in the first half of the year and a larger allotment in the January payment time frame where folks are paying a lot of their property taxes. So there's no worries there. That's why the numbers are a little bit different there. On the expense side, if you recall, we've had expenditures have been all over the place. So last month we were less than we thought we should have been at the time by 5.93%. Now we are over what we should have spent. Most of that is related to a payroll payment that had to occur in December because of the January 1st holiday. So you'll see half of that, the month of January in pay, happened in December. So you're going to see it raised here, but hopefully in January that will come back down to what we have historically seen. That is it. I did that one fast.
Excellent. All right, moving on to B is our monthly reports. C is our amended appropriations. D is our amended certificate of estimated resources. E is our monthly fund transfer. F for some donations are much appreciated. Thank you, Mr. Lang. G, to approve the creation of the Unplug and Play Fund to support the tech-free initiative at various intermediate schools.
So this is a pretty cool extension. Bowman started their Unplug and Play, saw great results, and so now our very intermediate schools are joining and creating that fund as well. They've already received some donations to support that.
Does Donovan have the same thing yet?
Not currently.
And I think the one of Bowman was extremely well received. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
H, to approve the creation of the Serve Ohio Grant Fund to support the FCCLA program at Lebanon High School.
So with this one, we had already received the revenues. We just placed it in the career readiness area in our general fund. But because it was a grant from the state of Ohio, we needed to do proper accounting. So we're creating a fund because it is a state grant.
So in agenda section 11, the financial consent items A through H, are there any additional questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, Ms. Irvin.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Mr. Gliotti?
Yes.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Agenda section 12, the public records request, and the board does acknowledge the receipt of the public records request that is in your board packet. Section 13, I'm going to need a motion to approve the final reading of policy 5430, class rank.
Second.
This is just a reminder to last month, we talked about changing the designation of valedictorian and salutatorian. So this was modifying the policy to remove the word valedictorian.
Ms. Berger, how do kids feel about this?
So actually, after this was discussed at the last meeting, I was so fascinated, I took it home. I took my agenda home and I researched it, just kind of on my own time, just the pros and cons of getting rid of this, and I wrote an essay about it for my teacher academy class. It just fascinated me so much, and I was so excited about it. And I asked some of my friends what they thought, because I've always been in that friend group that races to be #1 in just academics and classes. And a lot, at first, a lot of my friends were like, what? Like, what do you mean they're getting rid of that? And I just kind of explained to them what we had talked about at the meetings and then what I had researched on my own. And I truly, honestly believe that this would be a positive impact on our school, because I started, on a personal level, started my freshman year chasing class rank. I checked it, and we didn't get our class rank until junior year, but I constantly chased the higher rank, and I'm very grateful for the classes I took, and that I took higher level classes that have prepared me for college. But now that I'm in my last semester of high school, I do wish that I took some of the electives I wanted to take. That I took an art class or a ceramics class or something. But I did chase the higher level classes, which filled up my schedule pretty quick. So I do honestly think this would be a positive change, that students would be more likely to take classes that interest them rather than just the classes that would boost their GPA. It's kind of what I gathered from my personal experience and when I was discussing this with my friends.
Did you get an A on the paper?
I did,
There
actually.
you go.
It's my
Good thing you said yes to that.
That is not a surprise.
I got a private comment and she was like, this is very well written. And I was
Nice.
passionate.
You know, I didn't chase class rank either.
I did
Because for my
for a
mental
long
health.
time.
Ms. Dalton.
Yeah.
My mentor.
Okay, so if there's any other questions, serve in the roll, please.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mrs. Cope?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mr. Gliardi?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Agenda section 14, I need a motion to approve the consent items A and B, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so A is the 2026-2027 school year curriculum guides, and then B will be our spring sports handbook.
I do want to comment on the curriculum guides. This is the time of year that we do this. It's the courses that we offer in those buildings. It's crazy to think about scheduling for next year already, but that process starts in the end of January, beginning of February, as you start looking at new classes for next year. A couple of things to point out in there. First, I want to give a lot of credit to the high school. That's a completely new format, and it's a lot more digitally friendly now with links embedded and the ability to move easier through it with some tabs off to the side in Google Docs. So it's much easier to use, so kudos to Mr. Brunk and his team for that. The other thing is we are working hard, by we I mean Casey Wood at Lebanon High School is working hard to expand the number of courses that are offered dual credit through the University of Cincinnati in-house. We found out in December, based off of their expansion and their willingness to offer a lot more at Lebanon High School next year, we qualify under the Ohio Department of Education's Higher Education Commission as an official location for the University of Cincinnati. So they'll begin to start saying, like University of Cincinnati, Lebanon. We'll have enough courses offered next year for students that they could take almost an associate's level worth of work, not have to leave campus. It's taught by our staff members, so a lot, I won't say a lot, multiple AP classes that we know the rigor is high, we know that the coursework is challenging. but they're going to certify those as University of Cincinnati courses. And so you don't have to pass the test for AP at the end to get credit. So I think it's going to be a major step in the right direction for those that want to take college credit courses but not leave campus, or those that want to be challenged and still get the same level of credit for those things. So for example, I believe it's going to be possible at Lebanon High School next year for language arts students, for English language arts students to take what would have been honors language arts or AP courses and to get 6 credits of college, 3 for first semester and 3 for second, which is what they would be doing if they would have gone to take a class at Sinclair or in language arts. So Casey's done a lot of really good work with that. It's highlighted in the curriculum guide. We also have opportunities like Early College Academy where students can leave the high school, go to Miami Middletown. There's some great programs at Miami Middletown that's expanded, and kids are pretty much enrolled full-time at Miami in their junior year. They can graduate with an associate's. And then they're going to Miami campus then for like completing the education coursework in 2 years after that with a semester of student teaching. So I think there's going to be some really great opportunities that we're able to provide for our students, and those things are highlighted in the curriculum guide. We're going to work to begin communicating that. So I just wanted to point that out. There's some great things happening at Lebanon High School, and I think from having as a parent of high school students, I believe wholeheartedly that the best place for my kid to get an education is in the building at Lebanon High School. I think the staff members in that building provide higher quality instruction than what a lot of our students are getting through online college courses or on campuses at some of the colleges around us. And so we have the ability for them to be in an environment with somebody that knows them and cares about them, get them college credit as well. And it keeps our kids on campus then to be able to go take the classes that they want to take, like ceramics or choir or whatever those things may be. So I think it's a huge win for us, and this is just the normal time we normally do it, but there's a couple of huge highlights in there that I think are worth pointing out, and we'll bring more as we flesh that out back to the board, just for updates.
So the 2 questions, if I can. Number 1, this isn't a question, but first a statement. You said there's some great things going on with Lebanon High School. Wholeheartedly agree with that, right? That what we're seeing with Mr. Brunk and the rest of the administrators, nice to see the expansion of programs. But my questions are, since it's a UC Lebanon, are outside people allowed to come take those classes?
No, because it's still dual credits, dual enrollment, so that's enrolled as a Lebanon student.
Okay. And then my second one is...
It's a location, not a branch.
Okay, that's good. And then the second one is, since they will get, I guess this is a 2-part question, will they still have to take the AP test? And either way, are those credits transferable to other schools?
Yes, so they, would not have to take the AP test if it's not specifically offered as an AP course. I believe you can take any AP test you want to take. So if you're somebody who wants to attend school outside of Ohio, then you could take the AP test at the end of that.
Make sure it transfers.
To make sure it transfers. The way that College Credit Plus law is written, any course taken as a College Credit Plus course in the state of Ohio is required to transfer credit-wise to other institutions. Excellent. So we know that those courses will be a direct transfer if you go to Cincinnati. Sometimes it depends upon where you take the courses from. If you take a course through Sinclair, for example, you're going to get the credits and it's going to transfer on your transcript, but not all schools may say, yeah, well, that's a sufficient course for
English or whatever. Yeah.
For whatever that credit may be.
It may be an elective credit rather
Correct.
than. Yeah.
These courses we know are transferring directly to UC and other state institutions because of that. So.
Mr. Severs, that's really good information, and are we going to get that out to the public as much as possible? Because I'm sure there aren't that many people watching this right now.
The plan is for us to figure out exactly what that means and to share the heck out of it, yes.
They will provide, they're going to produce, UC is going to produce promotional materials about it. So they'll put it, I mean, their letterhead, their logo, they are thrilled with the partnership. UC is very excited about it, and they're working directly with Casey Wood, our high school assistant principal, on it, and will promote that. They said, you know, for them it doesn't mean anything different for our kids, right? They're UC, taking UC classes. They recognize for us it could be huge, right? For us, in terms of promoting this to businesses looking to move to the area. Your kid can go to a traditional high school setting and have this opportunity to be called a location, you know, the University of Cincinnati location. There aren't very many of them. It's solely because the number of courses they're able to offer based off of our staff and the work we've done. So yes, the plan is to promote it like this.
Yeah, that would be great, because these students are the ones that are participating in so many of the extracurricular activities that make our school so strong, and like that whole cohesiveness and community.
Yep.
To keep them here, and it's so much better than online classes in the first
You know, I have a sophomore son, and the opportunity to like go to Middletown, you know, Miami, Middletown, and do the early college academy. We talked about it, and those of you who know Abe, or Abe's is nothing but social, right? Like that kid loves people and loves being around his buddies. He's like, I would never consider that option. I don't want to leave Lebanon High School. That's where all my friends are, right? And so it's an opportunity to bolster that, where kids don't have to leave but still don't lose out on. It's a giant benefit to our community. I would also point this out. College Credit Plus costs, we lose money as a school district. We get funding for a student, and we have to pay that institution for every one of those credits out of our revenue. It doesn't, it's not a moneymaker for us. It costs the district money. And but we think it's the right thing to do, right? To help kids get through that experience much quicker at the college level. So yes, it's a great question, great point. Like we have to do a great job promoting, because it's a big deal.
And I mean, we have been talking the last couple of years about how bad computer technology and social media is on kids, and giving them an opportunity in a room and learning how to talk and communicate with other adults is a huge benefit. Once you're out of college, you will find out that it's a lot about how you can communicate and talk and look at people and read people than it is things that you studied in the book. I think it's really cool. Any other questions on the other educational consent items, A and B? Comments? Ms. Urban, roll call, please.
Mr. Gliotti?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mrs. Coe?
Yes.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'm looking for a motion to approve agenda section 15, the personnel consent items A through I. A through I.
So moved.
Second.
Who got it? Give it to Ms. Coe. She's I'll go,
Time of the sound traveling.
If you want to give it to Mr. Lane.
No, you can have it.
we need like a possession era, like they do in basketball. So A is one resignation, B is substitute employment.
Can I talk to you for, stop you for just 1 second there?
Sure.
I would like to point out that Tracy Funk, resigning as our school social worker, she has been phenomenal for our district. She is a fantastic human being and a wonderful resource for our families. There's a lot of need in Lebanon, Ohio. I don't believe everybody fully comprehends the need that our families have. And Tracy goes into those homes. She works collectively and collaboratively with law enforcement, with other county and city resources to get people services and provide and meet needs.
She has been phenomenal. So much so that Family Promise of Warren County has asked her to come be their new executive director. And so it's great for her, it's sad for us, and she's done a wonderful job. So I don't always talk that much about resignations, but she's been one person for an entire school district that has served as a social worker and has really transformed that work, and we're going to be sad to see her go.
Couldn't agree more. B, substitute employment. C is a list of supplementals pending the BCI FBI background check, and there's quite a few of them. D is our normal board resolution for the employment of non-licensed coaches. E is a list of change of status. Any comments here? I don't see anything. No. F is a couple volunteers. G is leaves of absence. Tammy Deal from the transportation department. She's the one that does the what do they call them? The stuffed animal thing. So she's back now.
Who's that? I'm sorry.
Tammy Deal.
Yes.
She's back here. She's ready. G2 is additional unpaid leave that's in your board packet. H is the stipend. I is supplemental volunteer coaches pending BCI FBI background check. So are there any questions, comments, or concerns about the agenda, section 15A? Hearing none, Ms. Irvin?
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mr. Gliotti?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mrs. Cope?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving on to board comments, Ms. Coe, anything to add this evening?
Nothing on my end.
Excellent. Mr. Gliotti?
Had a great time with the transportation department in December. I actually drove a bus around the lot, taking bus drivers for Appreciation Day out to their buses, and just wanted to say how much of a pleasure it was to be with that staff. It was fun.
We didn't damage one of our
I didn't
buses.
damage or hurt anyone.
Sure. Did you have drinks on that bus? Because those are pretty good.
None at all.
Well, I saw a picture of you with a big gulp.
No, sir.
It was raining that day. It couldn't have asked for a better day to volunteer to drive them to their bus, so.
Ms. Stahl?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Mr. Lane?
I do not.
The only thing I'll add, I think everyone probably got the email from public schools work training that we have an ethics training thing to do that's due the 13th of February. Don't be left out.
I want to say, if you notice me being slightly more distracted tonight by my cell phone, I apologize. My kid's playing basketball at Turpin, and I wanted to get my regular updates. For anybody following along that cares, we did win tonight, girls basketball, so much needed win for the girls and for Coach Chastain. 72-44 final, go Warriors. It's a great day to be a Warrior.
Great day. Okay, agenda item 16, executive session. So at this time, the board needs to enter an executive session for the purpose to consider the appointment, employment, or compensation of a public employee or official, and to consider confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, and personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiate with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance. So may I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'm not doing it.
Ms. Dalton?
Second.
Ms. Dalton?
We're playing games.
Ms. Irvin, roll please.
2 hours later, we get a little slap
Mr.
back.
McCutcheon?
Yes.
Mr. Gliotti?
Yes.
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Mrs. Dalton?
Yes.
Mrs. Cope?
Yes.
Motion carried.
The board will now enter into executive session at 7:58. No action will be taken during or after this session. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you to the camera guy.
I got thousands. So Caitlin, who does it look like the valedictorian of the story?
Oh, valedictorian is for sure one of your marks.
She never attended Lebanon High School though, did she? Did she attend?
Yeah, she took
So
a
is
few
that-
classes.
Like
She's done a lot of
Markey
CCP.
She
Like
took
the road named after Markey thing?
No, Mr. Markey ran for the school board several years ago.
Real
Her
smart guy.
dad.
Yeah,
But she's
21,
been
right?
taking
Yeah.
CCP since our 7th grade.
Yeah, she's been doing,
Yeah.
so, I think just big, like, not even close to the rest of them in terms of GPS.
Currently getting her pilot's license, like,
Oh,
she's
really?
insane. I'm not sure who else is up there.
She's my neighbor.
I went out, she
And then,
talked
you know,
to
the other
one of
ones
me,
that
I just
are
wanted to go say,
I'm not sure.
I
I know
wanted to go-
Campbell Pullman, Kendall Heffel, they're all kind of up there.
I wanted to go say hello to her because she said something before the meeting, I just wanted to follow up, make sure there wasn't